What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Thanks for checking in with us today. So we have a lot to get into. As usual, we are talking about the Warriors and the Lakers and whether or not they're actually going to be threats going into this play-in tournament. We also have an update on Aaron Rodgers, but before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JRayTheFanatic.
Now, Jackie, as usual, we need to get your little moving update before we dive into the news. We've got to know how you're settling in, what's going on. So how's everything going in your new place?
It's going. I love the building. I still haven't got my apartment set up. You already know that because we had so many issues with my setup this morning. Had to switch computers. It's a mess, but by Monday of next week, I feel like my life will be back in order. But right now, it's not. It's just chaos. It's just what it is.
Jackie, before we got on the show this morning, Jackie looked purple from her setup. So, and
I was like, "How do I fix that? What? I don't even know. I don't know."
Okay, so then another thing that I need to ask you about before we get into the news, how is Challenge Accepted going? I know we have another episode coming out today, so what can everybody expect from that?
Yes, I'm excited about the episode today of Challenge Accepted. It's my friend Nick Hamilton. He covers the Lakers, Clippers. He's on Dash Radio. He's CBS, like all kinds of things. So he has a lot of insight. And we never agree on anything. We've been friends for a long time. So this episode is going to be really fun. So make sure you check it out, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's going to be great as usual. And then next week, CK2K is going to be on. So Chris Clark is going to come back finally. That was like reinventing the wheel to get this man on the show. But we did it. I'm excited. So make sure you check us out.
Yay! Can't wait to see CK back on the channel. So you guys, Challenge Accepted comes out at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today. So you'll see Jackie and her friend Nick Hamilton. Make sure you check that out. There's a lot of opportunities for the fans to get involved and get, just kind of play a role in how the show goes. So that's always fun. I know you guys like what we do here on the live show with Fan or Foe. And now you get another opportunity to get into it with us. Also, just a little tease, we are going to be releasing my show coming out pretty soon. Things are still a little bit up in the air as to when we're going to finally have that ready to go. I believe it'll be next week, but I'm not entirely sure yet. So that's going to be coming out soon. So I'll make sure to give you guys all the updates. We're going to be talking about all the stuff that, I get really excited about. The drama, the brawls, the clapbacks, all of that is going to be happening in my show. So that's coming up soon. Super excited about that. Lots of cool things happening over here at the Fumble, you guys. Okay, now let's get into the news. Let's talk about the Warriors and the Lakers because this play-in tournament and the postseason is looking a little different than I think a lot of us were expecting it to. So the Warriors have beat the number 1 and 2 seeds, Jazz and Suns, and the Lakers also defeated the Suns last night and then the Clippers last night, and they did that without LeBron. So what does this mean going into the postseason? Are the Warriors and the Lakers more of a threat than people were really willing to give them credit for a long time? So what we're seeing with the Warriors right now is that Steph is putting in more minutes than he was before. So he's averaging 34 minutes per game, and in his last postseason, he was averaging 38.5 minutes. But going into the postseason, the expectation is that he's going to be averaging about 40 minutes per game, which is quite a bit. And then Draymond said, quote, "We ain't no We Believe 2.0. We got effing Steph Curry on our team." So he's not thinking that this is like a comeback moment. He's like, we've already got this. Draymond is also playing increased center minutes. So I feel like they've got this fire in them right now, and they're really kind of pushing into it and getting really kind of aggressive and excited going into this play-in tournament. Now we have to talk about the Lakers because the Lakers are also looking really good. We saw the Suns have a pretty dramatic turnaround in terms of just their reputation. And it's one of the craziest ones that we've seen, I feel like, in NBA history. They ended an 11-year playoff drought, and they built the second best record in the NBA. But coming face to face with the Lakers probably would not be good for them, because it's not like the Lakers are some down in the dumps team right now. In any given year, a number 2 seed in the Western Conference should expect to come face to face with an inferior opponent in the first round of the playoffs, but the Lakers are not that inferior opponent right now. They look more like a big threat. They're a team that's kind of been burned by injuries. They didn't have this smooth sailing season after winning the finals last season. Things were a little bit more challenging for them. They're playing like they've got a chip on their shoulder. They want to regain that competitive edge, and they also currently have a very strong roster of talent. So it's not like it's going to be this easy ride for the Suns, which is definitely surprising. With LA and the Warriors taking the 7 or 8 spots, the top teams I feel like really should be worried about facing off against LeBron and Steph Curry in the first round of the playoffs. Jackie, how do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, I'm glad that LeBron is taking this extra time, and he didn't come back against the Knicks. And we did beat the Knicks. I see you, Kevin Pryor, in the chat. But we won. We beat the Knicks in overtime last night. But that is something good to see, because regardless of the fact that I'm happy that we won, the Knicks are a really good team right now. And for us to be able to go in and beat them without a LeBron James is a good thing. I do think he came back from that high ankle sprain a little bit soon. So I'm glad that they're sitting him. Potentially even another game. I think he'll come back, not this coming up game, but the one after that. And I agree with that. You need to get that gel going into the playoffs. But here's the thing about the Suns that I don't, and I get what everybody is saying. The main thing about the Suns that I don't want people to forget is Chris Paul. Chris Paul, this is not new territory for him. He is a vet. He is level-headed. He knows exactly who he is on the court, and he knows the intensity of the situation, and he knows how to handle that situation. And him being there is just going to trickle down to everyone else, and it's going to make those younger guys, including Devin Booker, a lot better. It's going to calm them in that situation, and it's going to make them realize this is their moment. So just because they're, and I get it. Normally, if it was just the regular Suns and they didn't have Chris Paul, I would say, yeah, this moment is probably going to be too big for them. But Chris Paul's influence on them, I think it's a matchup. You can't underestimate the Suns. Nobody should, because if you do, they're going to sneak up on you. So I get what people are saying, but it's definitely, I think, the Chris Paul factor. You cannot underestimate that Chris Paul factor.
So then would you say that the Jazz and Suns have something to worry about, or you don't feel that way?
I think everyone has something to worry about, because everyone drinks playoff juice. When we go into the playoffs, everyone understands that moment. Everyone's going to step up. I think everyone should worry about the Lakers, because they have been struggling, and now they're not at the place anyone thought that they would be. And now it's all the naysayers saying, oh, they're not going to run it back this season. They're not going to run it back. That's going to add, anytime you put that kind of negativity out in the world, it's literally fuel. You don't believe me? Ask Damian Lillard. Anytime you put that kind of negativity out there, it adds fuel to their fire. So the Utah Jazz have played extremely well, for sure. So have the Suns. But the playoffs and the regular season are not the same thing. You lose a couple of games in a row in the regular season, you can bounce back from it. You can't lose a couple games in the playoffs and come back from it. It's a different animal. So everybody should be worried, and everybody should understand what they're going up against, specifically the Suns, because they have more to prove. Utah, they have more to prove too, but they have some injuries that I think will give a little bit more a pass to Utah, if they don't make it. Regardless of what happens, I saw people in the chat say, AD's injury. What I read this morning says that AD should be fine. If you guys got something else, let me know. And then obviously LeBron's coming back. So when you have a healthy LeBron and a healthy AD, you should automatically be worried, period. If those two men are on the court, you should be worried. If they're both off the court, then maybe you can relax a little bit. But if you have both of them, absolutely not. Everybody should be worried, and everybody should expect their opponent has done their homework. They've watched tapes. They have some things that you might not have seen in tape. You should expect your opponent is going to go in there with the intentions to win. So everybody should have that mindset and be prepared. Don't go in there sleeping on nobody, go in there and be prepared.
So do you see a first round upset then, Jackie?
So you're talking about after the play-in is set, after the play-in is done, and then so then we would have the Suns in the first round, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. No.
I think so, yeah.
I don't see an upset. That's not what I'm saying at all. I definitely see I don't see the Lakers going out in the first round, not at all. But I'm saying in order to make sure that doesn't happen, you can't just go, oh, it's the Suns. Because the Clippers did that against Denver last year. We saw how that worked out. You can't go in there with that mentality of, oh, it's just the Suns, we can relax. No, you can't. Everybody is stepping up their game. So if you don't want it to be an upset, you need to step up and make sure that you account for everything. And you understand how this organization has done a huge pivot because of Chris Paul. And you need to understand that. And you need to understand that that's a variable you just can't contest with unless you go in there 100% prepared.
Right. I mean, the Suns have obviously been extremely impressive, and I think Chris Paul has really done a good job of transforming the team and getting them to where they are. It's just wild to think that to go, the bottom seeded teams are ones with Steph and LeBron James. Like, that's just something that you'd never expect to see. So it doesn't seem like there's anything clear that's going to be happening with the play-in tournament, with the postseason, or the playoffs in general. It's just going to be, it's all very up in the air. And I know going into the postseason, that's typically how things are. We're constantly surprised. But in this case, I feel like it's just going to be completely wild. I know I'm really looking forward to it. Let's switch gears.
I think the Jazz Warriors game is going to be the one that everyone should watch, like, period. I think, because we would play in the play-in, I think we play the Warriors, right? So we would beat the Warriors, and then the Warriors would beat, I forget who's after that they would play. So we would have the 7th seed, and then the Warriors would have the 8th seed, right? So I do see the Jazz playing the Warriors, but I do think that game goes a 7-game series. I just want to put that out there right now. The Jazz and the Warriors, that goes a 7-game series, and that's going to be an amazing series to watch. I'm not going to make any predictions outside of a 7-game series, but I think that's going to be a great series to watch.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers here because we have some updates about him, and I'm really excited to get your thoughts on this, Jackie. So Ian Rappaport reported on Monday that Aaron Rodgers and the team are not in a good place right now, which is something that we've known for a while. But he also corroborated some other news that came out from the NFL Network last week that says Aaron Rodgers has been speaking to other athletes about joining him somewhere else. So he's kind of pulling a Tom Brady here. He said, quote, "We know that Rodgers has talked to several different players about joining him somewhere else. However, of course, as we know, the Packers have zero plans whatsoever to trade him." Ian Rappaport also mentioned that Green Bay has made a, quote, "significant long-term contract extension offer to Aaron." And according to The Athletic, that it would make him the NFL's highest paid quarterback, also known as more money than Mahomes, which we were already shocked.
That's insane. Yeah.
Insane. Absolutely insane. We didn't even expect Patrick Mahomes to get that kind of money, and now the Packers are trying to top it. Apparently, the team has done a lot of different things to try and make Aaron Rodgers happy and make him come back to them and feel better about them. And that contract extension offer is one of the things that they're trying to do to kind of like appease him and smooth over the situation. They actually have been negotiating, so it's not like the Packers are just kind of putting these offers out into this, abyss and not getting any sort of response. Aaron Rodgers is talking with them about it, and he's in discussions, but it's just very, very interesting here. Of course, there are still rumors about where he could go. The Denver Broncos apparently are one of the top options, which I know we've talked about, and Jeff Darlington said that the Broncos are what the Bucs were to Tom Brady. Let's discuss this in general. Do you feel that Aaron Rodgers has the same kind of pull that Tom Brady does to recruit players to come join him on a different team? Do you think that there's anyone in the NFL that would be enticed by this?
Yes, to both. I think Aaron Rodgers is that man. So here's an interesting point. This contract is going to be the caveat because to me, it becomes a situation, okay, if they spend all this money on Aaron Rodgers, they still haven't gotten him any help over the years as far as, his receiving core. Devontae Adams has already said that he doesn't know what the future holds for him in Green Bay if Aaron Rodgers leaves. So that's one. You can count on him leaving if Aaron Rodgers leaves. I know he said it the politically correct way. Who else could I see? Emmanuel Sanders, he used to be with I know he just signed with, I think, the Bills, so maybe not him. He can't get him. But I see a bunch of people who are in free agencies, and you have an opportunity to play with a GOAT. He's not the GOAT, but Aaron Rodgers is a GOAT. Let's not get it twisted. And if he goes over to Denver, John Elway is going to give that man whatever he wants. John Elway is not a good GM, but he knows a good quarterback when he sees it. And that's the best thing he ever did for the Broncos was get Peyton Manning. So can he recreate that situation with Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely. Will he give Aaron Rodgers all the receivers he could possibly want to make sure he wins? Absolutely. Would Denver go to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers? I think so. I just can't see Denver as an organization is not a bad organization. It's just John Elway has made some really bad moves as of late. But when he has a good quarterback in there, that's when he steps up his GM game. So I think that's a thing. Like Aaron Rodgers to the Denver Broncos, whether you really want to believe it'll happen or not, it's a strong possibility because it is a clean slate, just like Tampa Bay was a clean slate for Tom Brady. It's uncharted territory. They haven't been in the Super Bowl for quite some time since they beat Cam Newton, and that was with Peyton Manning. So it's been a while. So I think that's a very viable situation. I think Green Bay is genius in putting this money out there because now Aaron Rodgers, whatever issues he feels about Green Bay, that's not going to change because they give him more money than God. That's not going to change. It's now he's just going to hide it a little bit better. So now it just comes down to who is he as a person? Is he the person that the money is more important, or is he the person that before he retires, he wants that ring? Who is he as a person? And that's just what we have to see. We have to see who he is as a person. I don't think any of us would be mad at him if he took the money. If he took the money and didn't get the ring, he still got more money than most of us are ever going to see in our lifetime. So I don't think we'd be mad at him for that. But if he didn't take the money, got the ring, and then when you add in all of his endorsements and things of that nature, is the money really that big a deal? You're going to get that money one way or another. Sure, you can get that money and the endorsements. That's a good thing. But now when you can get, and it's not even average money. Nobody at Aaron Rodgers' point in life is making average money, but you get what I'm saying. Can you make less money and get this ring? And does that mean more to you? It's just about what means more to him. But smart, well played by Green Bay, because we are in a capitalistic society and money does talk. So if they are trying to make him even higher paid than Patrick Mahomes, which I think makes sense. I think he deserves more money than Patrick Mahomes personally. But we also talked about the mess that money is going to get Kansas City in, how you have to restructure contracts now, and how you have to, because you're not going to have the money to do certain things. And he already doesn't have the assets he needs. So what does that money mean? There's just a lot of questions that need to be answered when you're talking about this giant contract and Green Bay and what is really important to Aaron Rodgers. So this is going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
It really is going to be interesting. And I do think that what you said about the Broncos being this kind of ideal landing spot for him makes a lot of sense because, without Aaron Rodgers on the roster, they don't seem like a Super Bowl contending team despite the talent that is there. But once you add Aaron Rodgers there, they look really good. So I have a feeling that he is frustrated enough with the Packers. He'd be willing to say goodbye to the money and go to the Broncos or any other team that he's considering right now. I can see that happening just because I think this kind of frustration has been boiling over for a very long time there. And I don't know that he'd even be that motivated because you're right. At this point, he's already making so much money. Like, is it really going to be worth it at this stage of his career to get a Patrick Mahomes or, style contract? I don't know. It would be very hard to walk away from money like that, but you go into the NFL to be a Super Bowl champion, so it's like, that's tough here. For those of you in the chat, let us know what you think about what Aaron Rodgers might do in the future. Is he going to say goodbye to the money and still try and win a Super Bowl, or is he going to take the money and just be okay with whatever happens over there? But that wraps up Need to Know News. Let's move on to the post up.
Yes, let's get into the post-up. I swear this week, every day that I make it to the post-up without any kind of technical glitch, I'm excited because I'm struggling over here. But let's get into this first one, speaking of technical, because this technical foul that LaMelo got is, I don't want to say it's infuriating to me, but it's one of those things that I'm like, come on, this is ridiculous. And the whole thing is fascinating because when you watch the play out, I thought he was getting called for the tech because he was complaining about the foul that he got. But then when you watch the slow-mo at the end, you see what happens between he and the ref. So take a look at this. This is very interesting to me.
The Hornets bench making the decisions. Hornets have the basketball, down by 9. They were down by 21 in the first half, and Austin Rivers gets called for the block. Austin Rivers felt he was the one who got fouled. And a technical foul called on who? Is it on LaMelo? We're going to come the other way, and Jokic will have another technical free throw.
Okay, so wait, here it comes. I want you to see what actually got Melo this technical. LaMelo. Okay, here it comes.
You just called it Melo.
I know. That's a snafu. Did you see it, though? Did you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so look right here. Bam. Now look, my first instinct is get your hands off me. So I was actually okay with this. I get that the ref was this was a friendly gesture. You're moving full speed. Let me help my boy out. Let me not let him go wherever he was going to go if I not held him up. But at the same time, let go. You had enough time to let go of me. You got me all around my waist and whatnot. This to me was a lot. Like, I thought that this one, you should have let it go as the ref. But Twitter was all over the place with this one. Like, people were so back and forth on what they felt about this. A lot of people were complaining about the refs and saying the refs were terrible. This is a stupid call. But then I saw so many tweets like this that said most of these people with the negative comments about the refs are funny. Twitter keyboard courage. Don't know anything about the challenges of officiating. Wouldn't dare say most of this to a ref's face to face, man to man. I'm sorry, but I would live. I would love to say what I need to say to a ref's face. Just that's a thing. Like, I would love to do that. So you're wrong, sir. But then other people were like, no, that's definitely a foul. This one says, yeah, but just don't touch the players if you don't have to. Like, the rules set up for players not to touch refs either. And this is the point that I'm getting at. Like, if that had been reversed and LaMelo had grabbed him first or something of that, he definitely would have got teed up because you can't touch the refs. Or if he was explaining, we've seen that before. Players are trying to like explain how the hold happened and they do it on the ref, technical. You can't touch people. So why is it not the same across the board? So again, I get that this was a friendly gesture, but what are we doing right now? And then this guy says, don't run into the refs when they are just standing there. Did we see the same thing? Play was dead and the layup attempt was completely stupid. That's irrelevant. Whether the layup was dumb or not, I get it. The play was already dead and players do that all the time. But my point is if I can't touch you, why are you touching me? And then this guy is hilarious. He said, wouldn't say to their face. He's talking to that first guy. He says, are you kidding? I would pay to say something to some of these refs. They swear we pay money to see them and not the players. Matter of fact, they should set up some sort of charity fundraiser for this during the off season. This is the best idea I've seen in a long time from a Twitter user. I would definitely pay my money to be able to go talk face to face with the ref and just, I would have receipts. Like, remember when you did this right here, don't forget this. Like, I would go in there prepared. But that's my question for you guys in the chat. And Devin, I'm gonna start with you. Was this a good technical? Was LaMelo wrong for this? Or is this just an overreaction by the ref?
Okay, I'm on the fence. When I first saw this video last night, I watched it and I was like, damn, LaMelo did not need to be so aggressive. He had way too much force and aggression to remove that guy's hand because it wasn't like the ref was doing anything bad. He was just trying to prevent LaMelo from falling. I've done that when I've been in stores and I see a stranger falling. I reach out and I'm like, let me help you, because it's just instinctual, Like, you just want to help somebody when you feel like they're about to go tumbling to the ground. So I don't blame the ref for reaching his arm out. Sure, he could have removed it quickly, more quickly than he did. But I also think that, like, he probably was just, these are like split minute decisions. You know what I mean? Like, I don't expect everybody to react perfectly all the time, the ref and LaMelo. I think a technical is a little bit extreme. I don't think that he necessarily deserved that, but I don't think that I don't understand why there was so much why there's even so much debate about it. LaMelo really aggressively tore that guy's hand away. He was just trying to help. It wasn't anything like tense or malicious or negative. And, you know, we'll be the first ones here to say the refs are making bad calls and they're really sucky this season. But in this case, I don't think that was what was happening here. So I don't know. I'm a little on the fence about it. I think LaMelo could have handled it better, but then again, tensions and stakes are high in that kind of situation when they're in the middle of a game, and you know what I mean? So I don't really know.
Yeah, that one's tough. And you bring up a good point because you talk about like instinctually helping somebody. I mean, but the instincts run on the opposite way. I was out the other day and I dropped my wallet, and I was just walking down the street and this guy runs up on me. And when I turned around, I was ready to score. I didn't know why he was running up on me. So I was prepared to defend myself like, yo, bro, and then he was like, oh, you dropped your wallet. I was like, oh, thank you. You know what I mean? But that wasn't my first mind. My first mind was like, we got a problem. So I could see LaMelo being like, why are you touching me? Because it's just instincts weren't on both sides,
Me too. I can see it too. That's why I feel on the fence, because I would probably feel if somebody kind of reached out and grabbed me unexpectedly, I'd be like, the same thing, get off me, Right. So it's just like goes both ways. That's why I can't really say whether or not how I feel about this.
A lot of people are back and forth on everything. Says valid technical and Melo shouldn't have done that. That's what Mike Gellick says. And then Kevin Pryor says the way he threw his hands off was out of line, but some of you guys say, yep, no, he was a little too touchy-feely. I get that. I get that. And so I'm on the fence with this and I probably wouldn't be if I hadn't been in that situation, similar to like what Devin said, some guy was trying to help me, but man, it was about to be a problem. Don't run up on me like that. So I get both sides of this for sure, but nonetheless, it is what it is. But don't touch somebody if you don't want to be touched. That's all I'm going to say about that one. But let's move on to this next one because y'all, we're finally back to this normal place in life where I get to happily and proudly, it's not a disagreement. It's just that this is dumb. Shaquille O'Neal is a weirdo. Like that's all there is to it. And sir, Shaq, I'm surprised that I have to tell you this as a black man, but we do not all look alike, sir. This is not a mistake you should make. But listen to this whole dissertation from Shaq and how he fumbles this so badly. Take a listen.
You were talking like they were championship caliber. That's how you were talking. That's the energy
they got home court advantage.
They're playing well. Shout out to my good friend Fresh West. He helped change the culture.
Yes.
Thibodeau's doing a great job, and Zach Randolph is playing MVP caliber basketball.
Hold on.
Congratulations to you, Knicks fans.
He doesn't play right now. Julius Randle.
That's whatever his name is.
Whatever his name is. Whatever his name is, let me let you know how bad this is, okay? Because Zach Randolph, his name is not even the same. He retired in 2018, okay? Do y'all see? He finished his career with Sacramento. He played 11 games with the Knicks in 2008. So that's not even close enough in proximity that you can make this mistake. This is Zach, all right? Ingrain that into your memory. And now let me show you Julius. Are we saying that Julius, were he overweight, would look like Zach Randolph? Julius Randle, if he were overweight, would look like Zach Randolph. Is that what we're saying, Shaq? And 2018 was the last time. I don't know. This seems like a very Karen moment to me from Shaq. But Devin, what do you think? Is this an honest mistake?
I mean, oh God, we have been in situations on our live show where we get names mixed up. We call out the wrong name of a player. Yes, because it's live and we're not reading from a script or a teleprompter. So sometimes, you just get wires crossed in your brain. I feel like with this situation with Shaq, it's just, I don't know. It's a little bit like, it really shouldn't have been this difficult to come up with the right name here. I don't know. I want to give him a pass because I know we have done this before ourselves, but you just would expect somebody like Shaq to not make that mistake.
Right. And I see you, Kevin Lang. That's why I put those pictures up in there, because I got this. I had this debate with a friend of mine, and I was like, he don't even look like Zach. And my friend was like, yes, he does. And I was like, all right, maybe a little bit. If he was, I mean, he would have to put on about another 25 pounds. It does look like a before and after picture to me. Like, you know, Zach is the before picture and Julius is the after. So maybe. But how you not know that, Shaq? How you not know that? All right, Shaq. All right. Okay, so I'll give you a pass because, you know, Devin and Kevin Lang in the chat said, yeah, I kind of do look alike. So I'm going to let this one go. But let's go on to KD, because KD is out here on Twitter again, and he's validating something that he doesn't even know if it's true. But I actually believe this story. So this Twitter user posted a story about Kevin Durant on their Twitter. He says, I was courtside in New Orleans, and I told KD I paid too much money for him to be chilling. He looked at me and said, this is not a video game. Then he hit the next 2 threes. I told him that video game stuff, that's the video game stuff I wanted to see. All right, that's a cute story, you know, but the funny thing about it is nobody on Twitter really believed it. If you have time, go find this tweet and read all of the comments and the fake stories about Kevin Durant. But this one, he says, episode 63,733 of these people be capping, basically people be lying. But Kevin Durant was like, I don't know. This one could be. He says, I don't remember this, but this is a nice story, so I'm going to go with it. So he's basically going to co-sign on your story, even though he doesn't remember it. But to be fair, him not remembering it probably doesn't mean anything, because so many people talk to him courtside that it could possibly be true. But this one is funny because people started making up fake KD stories. This one was my favorite. He says, I was courtside in OKC when I told KD he wouldn't shoot this next 3 with his eyes closed. He looked right at me and said, this isn't funny. He proceeded to shoot the next 5 shots with his eyes closed and then took my wife to JW Marriott after. So this is the kind of fake story that you saw all through this. One was like, you know, KD saved me with his kidney. And it's like, because nobody believes this poor guy. But to me, this seems like a definite possibility. And I appreciate Kevin Durant saying, I don't remember this, but it could have happened, so I'm going to go with it. I think that's right. Devin, don't you think there's a solid chance this actually happened?
I mean, I'm not going to say that it's completely out of the realm of possibility, but I don't believe this. I read this and I thought it seemed like, you know, those LinkedIn updates that people post where they're like,
oh, yeah,
I walked in on a Zoom call and was wondering why there were no women speaking. And I told her, I'm changing that, honey. And it's like, your toddler daughter did not say that. Like, I just don't believe
right.
They just want something to post. So that's why I thought, I feel like this is this person just making something up. But you know what? Maybe it happened. I don't really believe it, but whatever.
Right. Because if I said, oh, I was courtside and LeBron James was like, oh, you're Jackie Ray from the Fumble, you're my biggest fan, none of y'all would believe that. I would. But if he said, you know, I don't remember saying this, but I'm going to go with it, it would make my entire life. So shouts out to KD for doing this for this fan, because I think it was an important moment to that fan. But who knows, may or may not be true. But now let's move on. Let's play a game. Who was worse? Okay, is Shaq worse for not knowing who Julius Randle is, or is D'Angelo Russell get the kind of donkey of the day for not being able to properly identify what is and is not a chair? Take a look.
It's time now for our not so genius moment, brought to you by Legal Genius. Check out number 0 right there. D'Angelo Russell. What is he thinking about? The baseline sandwich? He thinks that's a chair? He thinks it's a hold him? Come on, man.
I think someone should have warned him.
It's the commentary for me, the not so genius moment, brought to you by Legal Genius. The shade from the commentary is so good for me. So which one was better? Which I think D'Angelo wins the not so genius of the day. This is fantastic.
Oh, yes. I have done this before, so I love this because I know I'm not alone. Thank you, D-Lo.
But the slow motion fall, because his whole face was like his body is going down. Shout out to y'all for getting that fall. And look, here's the funniest thing about it, because I was like, I wonder how far I'm going to have to scroll before people bring up old stuff. It took one tweet up, and somebody was like, "Oh, this is what you get, D'Angelo, because you out here snitching." So, and I know y'all remember that. So let me throw up that tweet really quick, or not. It doesn't matter. But that's what happened. People are like, "Yeah, y'all should have known he was capable of this after he snitched on Swaggy P." I don't understand how snitching equates to I'm capable of not recognizing a chair, but I'm here for the shade. You know I am. That was great. Thank you, D-Lo. That was great. But I'm definitely going to watch where I sit for the rest of the day because, karma is jacked up. And when you laugh at people real hard at stuff like that, it always comes back, at least for me. So I'm going to pay really close attention. Now, this next one, I got to put my serious face on for a moment because this one bothered me. I actually sent this to our producer last night, and she was like, I already got this one. But this one is like, okay, we're probably going to have to watch this one twice. Let me just let you know that now, because the first time I just want you to watch it and take it in, and then we're going to revisit. But take a look at this.
Run, run.
Oh! You good?
Okay. Let me calm down. So when I instantly saw that, I was triggered. Let me just tell the truth about it. I was triggered because I was like, oh my God, that poor child. But then that's with me just watching it. So I did see it on Instagram. So I'm scrolling through it. You know how sometimes you watch videos and the audio is not immediately on. So the first time I watched it, all I saw was this hit. And I was like, oh my God. So I watched it a second time. And this time I paid attention to the audio. So I want you to listen to the adult in the situation and how he's like, you good? Just listen to this one more time. Leo, could you play one more time?
Run.
Oh! You good?
He's like, you good? Get up. This is why I read a study. This was years ago, though. But I read a study that said even most college players have CTE by the time they get to college. And it's because they started taking hits very, very young. And when you start, and this is my body is still developing stage. So for the adult to be like, oh, no, you good? No, he might not be. He's a child. His body hasn't even reached its full potential yet. This bothers me so much. But then what really bothered me is there's this youth football coach in the comments, and he's basically validating this, and he takes it one step further. So let me read this tweet to you. He says, absolutely not, because people were like, isn't this a horrible hit? He's like, absolutely not. As a youth football coaching legend, I encourage parents to have their kids do similar drills at a much younger age. This is to ensure they are mentally ready. Those two kids learned more in that 5-second drill than they ever will in a full school year. He says because it helps prepare them mentally. This kid took a hit to the head. He's not even fully developed. And you're saying this is going to develop him to take these hits in the future? I don't even know. Devin, I can't. There's no way my child is going to play football, period. This video, even if I had that inclination before, seeing this video and hearing the dude in the background, oh, you good, get up. And then hearing this coach say, yeah, this is great. They need to do this even younger. That kid was like, what, 6? I don't get it. I don't get it.
This is so wrong. Little kids should not be playing sports with any sort of physical contact like this. That's so bad for them. They're still developing. Their bones are like not as hard as adult bones. So this is very, very dangerous. Also, why do you want to put like a 6 or 7-year-old kid at the risk of getting a concussion? That's so bad for them. And then not only that, but it seemed like there was a definite height difference between the two kids. Mm-hmm, the kid that was coming from the far end was way taller. It was not even a balanced drill here. They should have, if they really want to do this, make sure that the size and weight matches up between the two kids, because that one that just got knocked over pretty much backflipped onto the ground, like that's very, very dangerous. I am not okay with this at all. I would be suing if they put my kid through this. Like, I am just not here for that at all.
Yeah. I missed you. Manuel C said, fam, that's a parody account. I don't care. I'm not playing about these kids. This is not okay to me. And Devin, you brought up a good point, because my friend's son, I think he's 9. He's like 8 or 9. And he plays football, and he plays with, I think it's 9 to 11 years old that they play. I don't know the exact age, but they're fairly young, 9 to 11. But there's 2 kids, they're twins. Both of them look like they about 15. because they're tall as heck and then they're just stacked. But they're like, I think 11 years old. So no age bracket. It definitely needs to be a size and weight bracket because technically they are playing in their right bracket but these are just mutant kids and those kids do exist. I was the tallest one in my class till I was about 16. So that's not necessarily fair. So I agree with that weight and height limit with these kids, and y'all good luck with these children and these head. That's too much. That's too much. All right. Speaking of things that are too much, let's get on to this next list because this one I don't know. This is terrible. This is just terrible. First of all, let me just say this. If you're going to make a list, don't throw random black guys in there just because you don't want to look like Team MAGA, okay? That's number one. Number two, can y'all learn how to say the names properly? And number three, if Jaylen Brown ain't in here, your list is trash. If Damian Lillard ain't in here, your list is trash. But y'all take a look. Oh, one more thing. I need these daughters, the parents of all these girls who took this survey, I need you to check on your daughters consistently because the first couple in this list shows me that they are attracted to like pedophile looking dudes. It's a concern, but take a look.
Today at work, we surveyed 4,200 Western students to find out who the hottest NBA player is. Time to show you who they are. Coming in top 10 with the rating of 7.621, we have Jonas Valanciunas.
Number 9, Lori Markkanen, 7.63.
Wow. Coming in at number 8, we have Gordon Hayward with a rating of 7.
Nobody thinks he's attractive.
812.
And a really good mustache.
Yeah.
Number
Not
7,
at all.
we have Kevin Love with a rating of 7.882.
Yay for Kevin. Coming in at number 6, we have Chris Paul with a rating of 7.92.
Look at those beautiful teeth.
I mean, I love Chris, but he's not on the list.
Number 5 with
I'll
a
give you that.
7.96. Not bad.
Coming in at number 4, we have Maurice Harkless with a rate of 8.105. Give it up for Maurice.
You struggled with Maurice? You struggled with Maurice? Devin?
You know I don't trust a list where Kelly Oubre's not on it. I didn't get to see the top two, though. Who were the top two? Did you catch that?
The very first ones?
Yeah, because she went up to number 3. So
I thought I don't know, girl. And I didn't take no time when she said Chris Paul, I was out. I was like, this is the weirdest list I've ever. It was almost like somebody was like, hey, we need a black guy in here. Chris Paul, like who's in? Like it's like the first name they knew or something, right? Jalen's not in there. Damian Lillard's not in there. Kelly Oubre's not in there. Look, say what you want. I'm not a fan of the guy, but the man is attractive. Paul George ain't in there. I'm not trying to hear nothing about this list. Nothing about this list.
Yeah. No.
And you have Kevin Love?
Well, I like Kevin Love. I think Kevin Love is cute. Gordon Hayward?
I think he's cute in like a dead. No. When she said Gordon Hayward, I was like, who raised you? Now, I'm sure somebody likes him, but Gordon Hayward is the kind of guy that you get to know and end up liking. He's not the guy you like off top. Like, he's just
also,
not.
What about Luka? I think Luka Doncic deserves to be on the list.
I mean, I love Luka because he's my baby goat, but he's not a looker. He's not a looker.
He's kind of cute. He's like a nice guy, cute.
But this is why you shouldn't judge people by their looks. Because my mom, let me tell you, my family's from the South, so they have the weirdest saying. So I'm gonna tell you this weird saying. My mom used to say, "Hey, you shouldn't judge people by their looks because if you have really buck teeth, there's gonna be a man who has a fetish about a woman biting an apple through a fence." I don't know what that meant, but I was like, "Mom, what does that mean?" But so that my mom taught me at a very early age. Don't judge people by their looks because whatever you think is ugly, somebody's gonna be like, "Oh my God, that's so attractive." So, okay, they like men that look like they have vans with no windows. So that's their thing. I'm gonna let that one go because. Go ahead, Devin.
One other person that they're missing is Serge Ibaka.
Oh God, Serge is fine.
Right? So these girls don't know what they're talking about. I don't know where, I don't know how they did this, who they were talking to. They're very wrong. It's your opinion, but it's your wrong opinion. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. And, you know, Giannis is attractive. He's cute. He's nice guy cute to me.
Yes. Giannis.
He's very nice guy cute. So, I mean, just do better with your list next time. And at least learn to say their names, especially if you got... Let's move on. Go, what were you going to say, Devin?
No, I was just mocking them, struggling with the names.
It's like what's his name? Like Vucevic. Remember Kendrick Perkins? That's what you sound like. Do better. All right, so let's get to this one because this one, first of all, I want you to see at the very beginning of it. I think it says it's like level 8 or something out of 50. So it's a easier level trick shot. This is insane. And the amount of times he took to do it, y'all just watch this trick shot. This is crazy.
Tiene que ser realmente exacto el tiro.
I have questions. Number one, why? Number two, if this is level 8, what did the other 7 levels look like? And number 3, for those of y'all who don't think that this was real, you know, I went through and scrolled it and like, so he showed that it can go through there. But aren't we kind of moving out of the pandemic? This is the stuff that I would expect to see at the beginning of the pandemic. We just have nothing to do, so let's just make this. But you should be getting back to life now. So I took a screenshot of the still so you could see that the card is actually coming through there. This is a real shot. I still want to know why, but let's take a look because these comments are exactly what I was thinking. Like, I just don't understand. How is this only level 8? And this says, and you tell me this is only 8 out of 50? I need to know what level 1 was. And what does level 50 look like? This is a lot. You guys have too much time on your hands. I appreciate it because it gives us something to talk about during the post-up. But maybe go outside. Outside is fun and it's beautiful. Go outside. Devin?
Good job. Cool.
I know, right?
Like, I don't know. How do you learn that you can do this? I agree. Go outside. The CDC now says we don't need masks outside. So just go breathe some air, take a nice walk, do something good for yourself.
Yeah, Energy 807 says, bruh, people did this before COVID. Again, go outside, take a walk. The amount of time that it took you to do this, you could have learned something new. But that is actually useful. How is this useful? But, congratulations. It was a great shot. Hit us back when you get to 50, because I need to know what that looks like. If this was number 8, that's crazy. But, all right, that's all we got for the post-up. Now let's get into what we're not going to do, because this one is fun. This one's going to be a lot of fun. It seems like a bad idea, but I've kind of rethought that since I originally said it was a bad idea, because I think that ultimately the people I'm thinking of are not going to be able to get in. But Wynn Resorts has announced they have plans to launch a new club at the Raiders' new stadium. So it's going to be an end zone club. It's going to be called Wynn Field Club, and it's going to be at the field level. It's going to span the entire length of the north end zone. Look at that. That's dope. That is so dope. So ticketed fans can sit in. It's nearly 11,000 square foot venue. So, you see those seats there, but there's a whole venue. And it has booths, and it's going to have spaces for DJs. And they've already got like these world-renowned DJs scheduled. So it's got 42 televisions, a 9 foot by 35 foot LED screen, a 45,000 watt sound system, and like I said, DJs for the field level party. The Raiders do have, I think, 9 home games already listed. They got their AFC rivals, the Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, Chargers, and then they also play the Ravens, Bengals, Bears, Dolphins, Eagles, and Washington. I don't have any, I don't have a dog in that race, a reason to go. So, my next thought was, okay, how much does this cost? And that's why I kind of calmed down, because my original thought was like, oh, no, this is a horrible idea, because Raider fans are crazy. You're going to give them a whole end zone space where they can just party and act a fool. We already know they beat up people, even at preseason games. This is a horrible idea. But the ticket prices for this end zone party thing has not come out yet. So that tells me these tickets are going to be insanely expensive, which means the type of person that I'm talking about probably isn't going to be able to afford it. I actually do see it being a lot more out of towners coming to this, traveling people. I can't wait to see who's going to be there, if especially from Denver. I see a lot of Denver Bronco country going out there maybe. But this is insane. This is such a cool idea if it goes well. Like I said, if you do manage to get those Raider fans in there that are typical Raider fans, and that's right at the end zone where all the world can see your stupidity, I think that's a really bad look for the Raiders, because we know how they can be. That being said, though, if they're not astronomically crazy priced, I'm definitely trying to go. So what we not going to do is hate on the Raiders just yet on the dopeness of this stadium. The stadium is already, if you guys have not seen like how this stadium is built out and what it looks like, it is phenomenal. There's two stadiums I want to go to. That is SoFi and Raiders' new stadium. I need to get into both those stadiums, and then tail end of the list, go to Jerry's World and just see, because Jerry's World is the one that started this whole trend of these amazing stadiums, and then everyone's kind of tried to duplicate it after that. So I'm going to start with SoFi, go to Vegas, end in Dallas, and I'll let you guys know which one is the best stadium. But I am a huge fan of this end zone club seating type thing. I think it's dope. I would have tried it for another team. But Devin, do you want to go? Do you want to go with me? Do you think this is a good idea or bad idea?
I think this is a great idea. If I got an invite to go into one of these little, what are they calling it? A booth? End zone?
These end zone booths, end zone club booths, something like that. Yeah.
I would 1000% be there. I would be Instagram storying the whole thing. That sounds like so much fun. Because, whenever you go to a game, and it is fun to be surrounded by all these other fans, and you kind of like hype each other up, and that's always exciting. But if you can be in one of these kind of private confined spaces, partying with all your friends, you're right there, you can see all the action right in front of you. To me, that's unbeatable. I would absolutely love to do this. I think it's a great idea. It probably is going to get really, really rowdy, like you said, but I think it will still be really fun.
Yeah, and let me just say, as a person who's been to several stadiums, and I still have season tickets for Denver, this is not the best seat in the house. The end zone seats are not the best seats in the house. The best seats in the house are at field level, 50-yard line, so you can see things from either direction. Sitting on either end zone, not the best seat in the house. So that's why you got them 40-something TVs in there, so you could watch the TVs. And this is the perfect setup for social distancing. You can get a couple, because that booth is huge, so you can get a couple of your friends in there that you trust, and just, oh my goodness. The only bad thing about it is now we can't bring purses in, so we can't sneak alcohol in, because the alcohol is going to be like $90 for a shot. This.
Well, if it's Vegas, it's probably bottle service only anyway, and they're going to have girls come out in lingerie with the fire, the sparklers in the bottles. So that's going to be the only way you can drink anyway. It's going to be like a $3,000 spending minimum.
Easily.
Yeah.
But Kevin Lang, I see you in the chat. He says versus Broncos. I'll check tickets. Yes, please check tickets. Let us know. I think couldn't we write that off as an expense? Let me not say that. I don't want to get in trouble. But that would be so much fun. Much fun. Road trip.
Let's do it. I'm down.
Right? All right, that's all I got for what we're not going to do, though. But I do love this idea. I can't wait to see. First Instagram story I see, I'm going to be like, yep, well worth the money.
I agree 1000%. I feel like that looks like so much fun. I would be thrilled to go to something like that. I feel like we need to have a meeting after this to see if we can count this as an expense. It's research, so obviously we have to go. It's an investigative report.
Absolutely.
We'll talk to our team after that. We'll let you guys know how it turns out. But you guys, we can wrap up our show for the day. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be back again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as usual. So subscribe, tap the bell, and leave a comment below. Do not forget to tune into Challenge Accepted at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's in just a few hours, you guys. It's going to be a great one, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye.